cancer survivors, you've probably seen this everywhere. Sugar causes cancer. Dairy is dangerous. Eating meat is going to cause your cancer to come back. But the truth is when you look at the actual evidence, only 2 foods have been clearly and consistently linked to cancer risk. I'm Dr. Amy, cancer researcher and cancer survivor. Over my 15-year career, I've helped thousands of women recover from cancer and stay cancer-free. And now, I want to help you. In this video, I'm showing you exactly what the 2 foods are and what you can do about it. But first, if you need support eliminating cancer treatment side effects or staying cancer-free, then click the link below and apply to work with me inside the Cancer Freedom Program. Okay. Let's dig in. Here's why this is so important. Cancer survivors deserve real information, not fear-mongering, not clickbait, because you've been through enough already. You need clarity, confidence. You need to know what foods will help you heal and which foods are silently working against you. Now, the 2 foods that are clearly linked to cancer are processed meats and alcohol. Now, that might come as a surprise to you, so let's clear up some misconceptions. There's a lot of noise out there when it comes to food and cancer. You might have heard that sugar causes cancer, or soy can cause your breast cancer to come back, or that even eating animal meat is a guaranteed way to get a cancer diagnosis. So let's break this down. First, sugar. Yeah, it's true that cancer cells use glucose as energy, but so does every single cell in our body. Cutting out sugar completely will not starve your cancer, because the cancer cells are then going to find another energy source and use that to grow. What matters far more is your overall diet and your blood sugar balance. Whole foods with sugar, like fruit, are not the enemy. Now look, no one's saying to go out and eat a bunch of sugary junk food. Of course, that's not going to be healthy, but you shouldn't have fear around eating sugar, especially in moderation, because it's simply not going to change your cancer risk. Okay, and what about soy? This one scares a lot of women, especially breast cancer survivors. But soy contains phytoestrogens. Phytoestrogens are a compound that's similar to estrogen, but different. Similar but different. Eating phytoestrogens is not going to raise the estrogen levels in your body. And in fact, most recent research has shown that consuming phytoestrogens actually lowers your risk of a breast cancer recurrence, even if you have hormone-positive breast cancer. This fear around soy is outdated, and it's absolutely not supported by the most current evidence. And what about animal meat? Now, red meat that's unprocessed and eaten in moderation does not increase your risk of cancer. And it absolutely does not have the same risk as processed meats. The key is 2 things: how the meat is prepared and how often you eat it. It's not actually about the meat itself. Now, let's get into the first of 2 foods that are clearly linked to cancer. First, processed meats. Processed meats are not just regular meats. They've been altered, cured, or smoked. This is done to extend the shelf life or enhance the flavor. We're talking about things like deli meat, sausage, bacon, hot dogs, beef jerky. And here's the science. Large-scale epidemiological studies have shown a clear link between eating higher amounts of processed meats and increasing the risk of cancer. This includes cancers like breast cancer, colorectal cancer, and lung cancer. Just 50 grams of processed meat per day is going to increase your risk of cancer by 18%. 50 grams is like eating 2 slices of bacon or having a deli meat sandwich every day for lunch. Now, as a cancer survivor myself, that's a risk I am not willing to take. Now, you might be thinking, I've already changed so much. I've cut out sugar, I'm eating more plants. Do I really have to give up processed meat too? And let me explain why this is gonna matter to your cancer risk so much. Processed meats often contain preservatives like nitrates. And while these additives help to extend the shelf life and they enhance the color and the flavor, they can also produce a compound in the body that damages your cellular DNA. This is actually what's going to promote cancer development. And even when things are labeled nitrate free, most of these products still contain natural nitrates or some other kind of preservative that has a similar risk. These nitrate-free processed meats are still going to behave the same way in your body. Now, nitrate-free meats might seem like a safer option, but we still don't know what exactly about processed meats is causing the increased risk of cancer. It might be the nitrates, but it also might just be the processing that happens, other chemicals involved, or something else. But what we do know right now is that processed meats increase the risk of cancer. Period. So here's what I recommend to my clients inside the Cancer Freedom Program. Avoid processed meats in your everyday routine. Don't keep them in your house by default. If you want bacon a couple times a year when you go out to brunch, then go for it. Enjoy it, guilt-free, but make this the exception and not the habit. I had a client who was terrified to eat processed meats. She cut out everything. Even red meat, she cut it out entirely. She was stuck with only chicken. But it got to the point where she'd go out to a party or a friend's house and she would eat nothing because she was so scared of anything that could possibly be in the food. Now, that's not freedom. That's not sustainable. So we worked together on building flexibility around her food. We created a clear and strategic plan so she'd be focused every day. It focused on strategy, not restriction. Okay, but moving on to food number 2. Alcohol. Now, I know alcohol is not technically a food. It's a drink, but it is no secret that alcohol is actually harmful to your body. What many people don't actually realize is that alcohol is a group 1 carcinogen. That actually puts it in the same category as tobacco. Alcohol increases the risk of 7 different types of cancer. This includes breast cancer, colorectal cancer, esophageal cancer, liver cancer, and mouth and throat cancer. And here's what the science says. If you have about 1 drink per day, that increases your risk of cancer by about 9%. And if you have about 3 drinks per week, so a drink every other day, that would increase your risk of cancer by about 4%. And yes, that includes even a glass of red wine. There's this old idea that red wine is somehow healthier for you than other types of alcohol, but that's not true. It's outdated. All alcohol is toxic to your body. Now, the antioxidants that you can get from alcohol, like red wine, it's often argued that they have health benefits. But these same antioxidants can easily be found in foods, things like berries or grapes. Now, I hear stories all the time about how my grandma lived to be 103 years old and she drank wine every single night. And yeah, that's could be true, and that's amazing for your grandma. We all have stories of that person who smoked cigarettes all the time and never got cancer. But when we look at large amounts of population data, so hundreds of thousands of people, and we look for patterns between their habits and the outcome of cancer, we do find that more alcohol equals more cancer. Here's the other thing too, is that the wine and the world that your grandma grew up in and lived in is very different than the world we live in now. This isn't your grandma's world anymore. But if you're serious about lowering your risk of cancer, here's where you need to start. It's not about fear, it's about facts. Give yourself the tools and the knowledge you need to make the best decisions for your health. So if alcohol is a big part of your life and your social life, then we might want to dig a bit deeper. You could choose low alcohol alternatives, or you could choose non-alcohol options. This is all going to help to lower your cancer risk. We'd also want to look at why you're navigating towards alcohol. Are you using it as stress relief or as a way to avoid another uncomfortable emotion? And if that's the case, then we can use other healthier strategies. And here's the truth, you're in control. If you are choosing to drink alcohol, you now know the data around the cancer risk and you can make an informed choice. So there's really only two foods that are clearly linked to cancer: processed meat and alcohol. Everything else, dairy, soy, meat, gluten, has no clear link to increasing your risk of cancer. Instead, your energy would be better used looking at your overall diet and making sure that is in alignment with lowering your cancer risk. If we fall into a trap of eliminating and restricting large groups of foods, then this is driven out of fear and not out of strategy. You can absolutely live a joyful life that involves great foods while still lowering your cancer risk. You want to eat with knowledge, eat with intention, and let go of the guilt. And if you want me to help you with that, I am honored. Your next step is to see exactly what I eat in a day as an 8-year cancer survivor. I'm going to link the video up for you here. Click the link here and I'll see you in the next video.